NatRev MD, the podcast all about medical billing. I am your host, Dr. Heather Signorelli. Join us as we break down the ins and outs of medical billing, discuss the latest trends, and also share insights to help your practice navigate healthcare finances. NatRev MD is a physician-owned, full-service medical billing and coding company. Check us out at natrevmd.com. That's natrevmd.com. Now on to the episode. I am glad to be back for another podcast this week. I don't know about you guys, but it has been a crazy few weeks. If your practice was at all impacted by the Change Healthcare cyber attack, I am sure you feel the same. If you guys are just now hearing the news, Change Healthcare, which is a major clearinghouse used to process claims and payments, had a recent cyber attack resulting in outages. This impacted many billing companies and practices from not only being able to submit claims, but also receiving the information into the software. This resulted in many billing teams scrabbling, trying to either enter claims manually or post payments manually. Luckily, some software companies have already created backups with Availity, and it sounds like Change Healthcare is anticipated to be functional starting after the 18th. I am unsure if this is widespread with all software vendors or just with Advanced MD. I hope you all are getting through this. It has made our team consider multiple ways to submit claims through many different portals. All right, on to the topic this week. We are going to talk about patient collections and some recommendations on processes to implement around patient collections. First off, it's important to note that I truly think patient collections should be a last resort. As always, please make sure your team has a great eligibility and insurance verification process, that you are collecting money before the patient is seen when possible, and that you are sending out patient statements regularly. We see practice send statements out typically once or twice a month, which is a great system and plenty enough for cash flow. As always, if you are looking for a practice analysis for your team, head on over to natrevmd.com and fill out some free online questions, and you will get a response from our team on simple things to focus on. If you are looking for a more in-depth analysis, we are happy to review metrics and provide some guidance. We are also getting ready to release our spring medical billing course in April. It is an 8-week on-demand course that helps offices understand the ins and outs of medical billing. Great for the entire office to take. It even includes a class on top coding mistakes and top credentialing mistakes. Head over to our website, natrevmd.com, and go to the Billing Course tab to sign up. Okay, let's get back to the discussion about how to implement collections into your practice. We will walk through the ideal steps to implement when you plan to use a collection agency. Of course, consult with your collection agency as some state regulations may change the duration and number of statements needed to send a patient to collections. First, dropping claims timely and signing out charts timely is so critical. So please make sure that charts are signed out and coded within a few business days at most, and then drop to the insurance companies within 1-2 days after that at most. Once the claims come back and any denials are managed, the office should send out a patient statement at least once or twice per month. I personally feel like sending them out more than that is unnecessary, but I feel that is up to the practice. If you are sending the statements out once per month, then ideally you do that, say, around the 20th to get payments in before the end of the month. But this is more preference. Ideally, those statements are run on a 28-day cycle, meaning a patient won't get a statement more than once a month. And even better if the system tries to get a statement read by email or electronically before wasting the money or paper trying to mail a hard copy statement. Please try and make sure you are setting up rules in the software to help manage this process for you. It is important to always review the statements ahead of time and make sure any unapplied patient patients are posted. For those of you who are unfamiliar with that process, I will explain this in more detail. So when a patient payment is collected before a visit is completed, that payment oftentimes will sit unapplied in the patient's account. Basically, it is sitting there on its own and not applied to a claim. When the claim is sent out and paid by the insurance company, then a portion may be left as patient responsibility. You then need to go and grab that unapplied payment and attach it to the claim or apply it to the claim. It is so important to make sure someone is applying unapplied patient payments to claims on a regular or weekly basis. This can get out of hand quickly and mess up your statement process. Ideally, when a patient statement is overdue, the office would have a credit card on file so that you can process that overdue statement at the 60-day mark. Please make sure if you do have credit cards on file saved, that patients are signing a contract related to this policy and that you are following the PCI compliance with the credit card processing vendor. Some practices will call patients for large balances over $250 or higher to make sure patients are aware. There are some software companies that will actually give the patient the option to stop payment before it's processed. And this will depend on the vendor's options for notifications. If you do not have a credit card on file process, or a patient has declined that process, then you are left with how to manage overdue statements. The first tactic is to confirm any overdue invoices as patients arrive for the day and make sure those payments are made before the patient is seen. The second tactic is to have a virtual assistant call patients with overdue invoices past 60 days. Make those courtesy calls to see if they have received the bill, if they need a payment plan, and get those invoices settled. You can always kindly let them know that if they are not paid at 120 days, then they will be sent to collections. The third tactic is sending a pre-collections letter at 60 or 90 days to let them know that collections are coming if the bill is not paid soon. The fourth tactic is to send a patient discount letter, letting them know that if they pay in full or get put on an automated payment plan, that you will discount the full bill. Then the last resort, of course, is sending the patients to collection. Now, once this is done, it cannot be undone. So as always, I try and suggest sending a notification ahead of time, triple checking the amount you are sending the patient to collection for, and having more than one person check the collection report. I have seen firsthand a mistake of sending patients to collections for the wrong amount, which resulted in bills for the office, the billing company, and uncomfortable conversations with the patients. Not fun. As you can tell, there are lots of options around collecting patient AR. The most important thing is you pick a strategy, create a written policy for that strategy, and you train the staff and billing team to execute it. These are not the fun things about running a business, but truly one of the items that are necessary. I know this can be a lot of information, so I want to also be able to summarize these steps for you high level. Oscar 1, timely processing of claims and charts. Ensure charts are signed out and coded within a few business days. Drop claims to insurance companies within 1 to 2 days after chart completion. Genre 2, managing patient statements. Send out statements. Einschwannorisain 2 times per month, preferably on a 28-day cycle. Opt for electronic statements before mailing hard copies. Implement rules in the software to manage the process. Review statements in advance and ensure unapplied payments are posted. Jacker 3, handling unapplied patient payments. Regularly apply unapplied patient payments to claims, ideally on a weekly basis. Review and manage these to prevent statement discrepancies. Thasur 4, credit card on file for overdue. Statements. Have a credit card on file for automatic payment at 60 days for overdue statements. Ensure compliance with PCI standards and have patients sign related policies. Jacker 5. Managing overdue statements without credit card on file. Confirm overdue invoice amounts when patients arrive for an appointment and ensure payment before service. Use a virtual assistant to call patients with invoices overdue past 60 days. Send a pre-collection letter at 60 or 90 days as a warning. Offer a discount for full payments or automated payment plans. Error 6, collections. Use as a last resort after exhausting all other options. Send notification prior to sending to collections and double-check amounts. Ensure accuracy to avoid mistakes and unnecessary disputes. Hopefully, that summary helped, and outlining this process helps your practice prevent high patient AR. Talk to you next week.